Okay, I'd just like to introduce myself before I, start my first video, since it is my first video. My name's Leslie, my husband's name is Brandon, and we have a cute little dog named Sophie. She's a Boxer Shepherd mix, so I take a lot of videos and pictures of her, so I'll probably be doing a lot with her, since she's just our little girl right now. Not really sure what I should say. Like I said, it's my first video. I've never vlogged before, but my friends do, and they have an awesome channel, so they've gotten me wanting to start. I'll just go into it. In October of 2016, October 1st actually, we found out I was pregnant. And I was really excited. We had actually just been trying for 1 month. We started trying in September, got pregnant immediately with only having sex 3 times. So it was amazing. My husband was a little freaked out because I kind of pushed him into it. He wasn't 100% ready, but we had been married 3 years. And I told him that I wanted to start trying after 2 years, but I gave another year because I wanted to try to lose some weight. I ended up only losing like 30-ish pounds from when I said that I was going to wait. But I also wasn't doing much. I wasn't eating good. I wasn't, I was going to the gym regularly. I wasn't trying. All I did was I started working at as a waitress, and walking around all the time got me to where I lost 30 pounds. But then I plateaued. But I decided I wanted to have a kid anyway. So October 1st we found out I was pregnant. Got the positive. Could not believe it. I texted my friends. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, you guys, and one of my friends was like, is this a joke? Like, is this serious? I'm like, yeah, it is. And yeah, I guess I was excited. Sorry, I have note cards. Two of the friends that were like, is this real? They helped me make a video that night, because I hadn't told Brandon yet, because I wanted to announce it in a special way. They helped me make a video because he's a big Pokemon person. So we made a guess this Pokemon video where we just put a whole bunch of silhouetted Pokemon, guess this Pokemon, and then it would pop up and oh, it's this Pokemon. So we made that, and at the very end we did one where it was like a baby silhouette, and it said guess this Pokemon, and then it said find out June 2010 or 2017. That's when I was due. And he didn't like that. He didn't like that not that I had told my friends first, but he wished I would have just told him that we were pregnant. Not done a little video, little surprise. Just tell him straight up, I'm pregnant. Whatever. I like, being cute. Whatever. So that was a Saturday. On Monday, I went and had the blood test done. I'm military. And you have to have a blood test done before you can be referred to a doctor. And so I got the blood test done, called back on Tuesday, because I heard that most people get called that night before closing hours. I didn't. I'm like, well, I know I'm pregnant. I've taken 3 tests. I took 2 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. They all were positive. Yeah, there's possible you can get a false positive, but not 3. It's very uncommon to get 3, But, so I called and yes, you're definitely pregnant. Congratulations. So that night we called, because we are in Oklahoma. We're both from Ohio. We called our families-ish. I was going home October 9th to surprise my dad for his birthday and just to go home. I go home at least once a year. I try to anyway. Sometimes it's more, depending on money-wise. Because I don't drive the interstate if I absolutely don't have to. And so I fly, and, flying is expensive. Anyway, we called his, I had called my mom earlier that day, and I already told her, but Brandon wanted to be there too, so that's how I know everything. So I called her, and then, and told her, hey, we're gonna call you later, pretend like you don't know. Sorry, babe, if you watch this video, I already told my mom first. Anyway, which I don't know if he'll watch the video, he's not into vlogging, so you probably will not really ever see him in my videos unless it's like a candid thing. So we called his family, we called his mom and his dad, his stepdad and his sister. They were excited. And then we called his father and his stepmom. They were excited as well. His father could not stop saying he's going to be a poppy. It was cute. And then we called my mom. We told her that it was because to step outside. We didn't want my dad to know, for one, yet anyway, and he wasn't supposed to know that I was coming home. So we were just saying that we were going to talk about me coming home. Well, we told her, and of course she acted surprised, but of course no matter what, when you tell them, they're going to be so happy. You could tell them 30 million times, they're going to be happy you're pregnant. It's your parents. So yeah, I was pregnant. They were excited. I had ordered a onesie that said, I may be small, but I already have my aunt wrapped, or my finger may be small, but I already have my aunt wrapped around it to surprise my sister. I hadn't told her either. And then and then I wanted to, but she kind of was expecting it. Everyone knew we were trying. I had told people. So I'm sure she was expecting it. And I told her, I was just like, hey, when I come in that night, I want to have dinner with just you. I mean, I want to have dinner with her anyway. But I was like, I want to have dinner with just you. I have something for you. So I'm sure that she knew. But who knows? Maybe she didn't. So and then when I got home, I got a birthday card, but it said Happy Birthday Grandpa on it. So I got a Darth Vader kids book, because my dad loves Star Wars. So I got that for him, and that's how we surprised him and let him open the gift. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I am. And so he was happy about that. And his little girl, my sister's 8 years older than me. She has 2 kids. And he spoils those kids, so I know he was excited for me to have one. Around October 15th, I was 6 weeks, and the nausea hit full force. I was very nauseous my last week at home. I was actually so nauseous the day I was supposed to fly back home that I was scared to fly home, because I was by myself for one. Because my husband was back here, because in October they can't really go anywhere. It's kind of like an end-of-month thing for them. But I was kind of scared to go home. I begged my mom to drive me home, 14 to 16 hours. Thought that, a freaking 16-hour drive would be better than a 6-hour flight with a layover. She couldn't, because she had to work the next day. So she's like, I can take you next weekend, but I had to work. And not the next day after I'd be back, the day after that, I had to work. So I'm like, no, I can't, I have to go to work. So I flew home. I packed plenty of little bags, grocery bags, in case I threw up, because, sometimes the planes don't already have the doggy bag in front of them in their seats. For some reason, I don't know what it is, I got some Sprite and ate some pretzels while I was waiting on the flight. And that worked out great. By the time I got on the plane, I was fine. I didn't really feel that nauseous, which that's how it was. I would feel really, really nauseous until I ate, but at the same time, it was I'm so nauseous, I really didn't want to eat. But once I would eat, I could eat slowly, but once I would eat, I'd feel fine for a little bit. It was pretty much I needed to eat. And I got some Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets at the layover airport. And then I got home. I was fine. The next day, I was a little nauseous. Took my time eating. I got a massage. Whatever. The morning sickness started at 7 weeks, 4 days. I was a server. Once it hit on a Wednesday. I called off that morning. I got rode up because I called off right before my shift, but I had thrown up on my way to work. And I'm like, it's morning sickness. I'm not contagious, whatever. You can work with it, but you're still miserable. You don't want to work. I know a lot of women do. I'm not saying that, I wouldn't do it. You'll find out why I end up having to, why I was being a baby about it. A lot of people thought I was being dramatic, which I understand. I probably would think so too if I was on the outside of it, but now them knowing what I went through, which you'll find out by the end of the video, they know what I went through. They understand I wasn't being dramatic. It was serious. But at first everyone, doctors, me included, everyone, thought it was morning sickness. It's pregnancy. So I got rode up. I came in that night because I was a double that day. And I was off the next day and I didn't get sick. So then I worked Friday and I got sick. So I was noticing that I was only getting sick on days that I worked before and at work. So I get sick right before my shift and then I get sick at work. It got to the point I was making my husband drive me to work because I didn't want to have to worry about trying to pull over and throw up in a bag. Hold on. I think I have to sneeze. That's me. So it got to that point, and there was one day my manager was like, you know what, I don't want you to just, because I looked miserable. I had one table, and I was pretty much just, laying around. Not really laying around, but, leaning over our, server bench booth, as I was miserable, and we were slow anyway. He's like, you know what, after your table's gone, just go home. I was like, thank you. By that next Wednesday, the November 2nd, I had put my 2 weeks in. Until I was like, until I can feel better, I'm putting my 2 weeks in. It's not fair to my customers. It's not fair to me. I'm worried about, am I going to make it to the bathroom? Worried about, and trying not to throw up on my customers. I'm not able to give them the service that they deserve. And I'm not making any money because of that. So I'm just going to put my 2 weeks in until I can, get this all straightened out, get on some medicine. Because I still hadn't had my first appointment yet. First appointment was going to be the week after I quit. And I was only working 4 days a week. So I put it on I worked Wednesdays and Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at that time because I was going to be a substitute teacher. Another story. And then, so I went ahead and, put my 2 weeks in. I worked my second shift the day because I was a double on Wednesdays. And I was only a food runner. And my manager, the one that was manager, he's not very sentimental, or sympathetic, I should say. Sympathetic. So he didn't really care. But at the same time, he knew that I wasn't feeling good, and why keep me there? So he sent me home around 8. I was there for 3 hours, and thanks. And then I had given up my shifts for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because I'm like, I just can't do this. And thankfully, they just didn't schedule me for the next week. Just hadn't scheduled me because they knew I was just going to give it up anyway. Well, my appointment, in 9 weeks, 3 days, I had my first ultrasound. Baby was great. I was measuring at 9 weeks, but, 3 days, it's whatever. That's what my apps were saying. Baby was great. I went into work to fill out his initial, one day when someone was taking my last shift that someone was taking over for me, I had to initial it so that it would be allowed. But I took in the ultrasound so everyone could see it at work. It's a little baby Casper. So baby was great. I was just really sick. I hadn't eaten anything or drank anything, and I had to get blood work drawn, typical 9, first checkup, blood work, whatever. So they were forcing me to drink apple juice, and I didn't even finish that, and I couldn't pee for the pee test. I ended up doing it a month later, the pee test. Surprisingly, I was able to do it, and I don't know how, because I just kept getting worse. But I announced to Facebook that I was pregnant that day, posted the picture. Me and my close friends, and of course the family knew, but not everyone knew. So that's what when we posted to Facebook. So I quit because I saw I was only getting sick when I was working. Because every day I wasn't working, I would be fine. I would not throw up that day. Well, immediately the next day after I quit, I was throwing up every day. The sickness got worse every morning, every week. Even though I was constantly told it would get better by the second trimester, I was put on Diclegis, a morning sickness pill, and it helped for 2 days. I felt fine. I didn't get out of bed because was taking it easy. I was hoping it would help me, and then I could finally get to moving again. The third day, I was getting sick again. It wasn't helping. It stopped working. I was throwing up 4 to 6 times a day, and I didn't get out of bed, except to go to the bathroom or to throw up, or to let my dog out if she absolutely had to go. Like, it got to the point that I was like, please wait till, Brayden gets home. Please wait till Daddy gets home so he can take you. I did not want to even go downstairs because every time I went downstairs, I would throw up. Like, every time I moved, pretty much. I only went to my, if I went, got out of bed to go to my appointments. By Thanksgiving, I couldn't keep anything down. I remember the weekend after Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving on Thursday, that whole weekend, I tried orange juice. Every time I drank it, about an hour later, I'd throw it up. Only good thing about that was I was throwing up something that tasted okay. So November 28th, which was the Monday after Thanksgiving, my husband called to get me on a new medicine. Said that the likely just wasn't working. I was 12 weeks, 2 days, and I ended up in the ER for 4 hours, getting 2 liters of fluid. My nurse said, get her to the hospital. We'll see if she can be put on a new thing. Well, they finally was like, hey, yeah, we can put her on Zofran. It's blacklisted for first trimester, and some doctors blacklisted the whole pregnancy. But I was in my second trimester, and once you get to your second trimester, you're starting to the baby's already developed a lot, so you're doing good. The hospital put me on Reglan, and the doctor put me on Zofran. Zofran worked for a few days, but joined the Diclegis and Reglan in the not helping zone. I continued to get worse. And then when I went to my second appointment at 13 weeks, 3 days, on December 6th, I was told that by Christmas, 16 weeks, 1 day, I should be on the up and up. I would be 16 weeks, and that's when morning sickness usually ends, for most people, unless you're like that 1 or 2% that's got hyperemesis, I think that's what they call it, which is really bad morning sickness. And apparently that's what the Queen of England, not the Queen of England, the Princess of England, what's her name? I don't remember what her name is, but the girl who, she's got 2 or 3 babies now over in England, she apparently had it, and she had to be in the hospital almost all of her pregnancies with getting fluid. Anyway, then December 15th came. I had a pain in my appendix area that wouldn't go away no matter which way I moved, anything. So I went back to the ER. I had ultrasounds done. I was given Reglan again, fluids that I was told was going to be and then I was told I was going to be admitted. I had the option to stay at the, to be because the hospital, like the emergency room I went to was like a standalone emergency room. They'd send you to the big hospital, or I could go to where I was going to deliver. And I was told that only to go there if I was, something with the baby. And at the time I didn't know, I just knew it was morning sickness. But I didn't think anything was wrong with the baby, so I was like, I'll just stay at St. Anthony's. Biggest mistake, I'm not downing St. Anthony's per se, like, if you want to go to St. Anthony's, great, go. I hope they take great care of you. I didn't like my stay, and we actually had a case out on us, and, of course, they came back saying that they did everything they could, and they apologized, whatever, but I didn't have a good experience. I waited 7 hours after I got to the ER, which we got there around 11 o'clock at night. Luckily, my husband's squadron was amazing through this. I can't thank them enough. If any of them watch this, I don't know if they will. If any of them watch this, thank you so much for everything you did for us. letting my husband go when he did come into work because he felt like he needed to. You told him to get the hell out of there because he didn't need to be at work. He needed to be with me. And even though there's some, he couldn't do anything to help me, and he told you guys that plenty of times, you still told him to be with your wife. She needs you. Even if you can't do anything, she needs you to be there just for support. You guys were amazing. But anyway, 7 hours after arriving at the ER, I was finally admitted. I was at St. Anthony's for 4 whole days. I slept most of the time. My husband came there maybe 6 hours a day to stay with me, but I was asleep half the time he was there. He was always on his phone. There was no point. I mean, yeah, it sucked that I was alone half the time, but there was no point in him being there. He needed to be home for Sophie, let her out, and he didn't want her being home alone too long. So he wasn't there, and it was okay. I had, I was on fluids 24/7. I was on about 7 different nausea medicines that did not help whatsoever. I was still throwing up 6 times a day. They did not help with my nausea at all. The ultrasounds to check on the baby. Ultrasounds. The first night, one lady came up with the, a travel ultrasound machine. She was so rude. She, moved my table, raised my bed, checks it. I don't get to see the screen. I don't get to see the screen. There was no sound, no heartbeat. I didn't get to hear a heartbeat. So I'm like, and she didn't say anything. She just, and then walks out. Doesn't lower my bed, doesn't bring my table back that's got my water on it, my throw-up bag, and then shuts my door. I didn't like my door shut. I was already alone. I didn't like that. So I liked having my door open. Yeah, I would hear everyone talking. There was, some patients who were like, help. Even though there was nothing wrong with them, they just wanted to have someone in their room as well. There was some guy who kept, moving to the point that his IV kept going off. Mine did too. I could barely, move my arm on a centimeter and it would go off. So, I heard all those noises, but I felt like I wasn't as alone if the door was open. So I had to call my nurse, ask them to come in and help me move things, because I couldn't get up and do it myself. If I had to go to the bathroom, I had to unplug my IV machine just to go to the bathroom. And then the second night I was go down to ultrasound, they still didn't show me a picture of the screen, or I didn't hear anything. All they told me was baby was fine. That was, and I was released on December 19th at 15 weeks, 2 days. They said I just had hyperemesis. Really bad morning sickness. And then things just kept getting worse. I was by Christmas, I was throwing up 8 to 12 times a day. I was so miserable that I just wanted it to be over. I would never do an abortion. I wanted this baby. But I was so miserable that I am depressed. I was just this much away from, never wanted to kill myself, but I was slightly above it. I was so, that's depressed I was. By Christmas, I stopped watching TV. I stared at the wall. And like I said, I didn't want an abortion, but I just wanted it to be over. I got so bad, I wanted an abortion to have the sickness be over. I was afraid I was going to die. I couldn't feel attached to the baby when it was literally killing me. That's how I felt. I couldn't even drink water. If I drank water within a few minutes, I'd throw it up. I couldn't drink water. Couldn't do anything. My husband was you need to eat something. He would bring me peaches. I'd throw them up within the hour. It was horrible. And finally, after not talking to my mom for weeks, I texted her about being admitted in the hospital, but I'd never called her. I probably hadn't talked to her since beginning of December. I didn't even want to look at my phone. That's how horrible it was. I called her on Christmas. She was very adamant on coming down to Oklahoma, even if she couldn't help me. She pretty much said, even having your mom there sometimes helps. I was thankful she came down anyway, even though I didn't think she could help. No, she couldn't. She arrived at 1:30 in the morning on December 28th. She went to bed, because we have an air mattress in our spare room that was going to be the baby's room, and she woke up. I was asleep still. I guess my husband got up early, and because my dad was still asleep, she went downstairs cleaning our living room. and she cleaned our living room. She cleaned up my bedroom. She did our laundry. My mom was amazing for us because we hadn't done anything. Like, Brayden didn't care. He was pretty much just in a game room or in bed or at work. That's all he did. I was in the bedroom. So, like, it got really bad. My mom's like, I never seen you live like that. And I'm like, it wasn't me. Like, I was not myself. I don't know what I would have done without her. Honestly, like, I ended up going to the hospital on the 28th. At 6 p.m. on December 28th. I was 16 weeks, 4 days. I had thrown up 9 times by 6 p.m. And so at one time it came out my nose. I thought I had a bloody nose, went to go wipe it, and there's nothing there. I threw up out of my nose. I didn't want to go back to the hospital. I didn't want to just be throwing medication at me again and be like, well, that's what you're going to deal with. I didn't want to be told that. So if my mom wouldn't have come, I don't know if I would have went back to the hospital. But I did. I decided I wanted to go to OU, the one I was going to deliver to. Once I was at the ER, I went back to triage. My heart rate was so high, they immediately sent me to a room where 2 nurses, 1 at each arm, drew lots of blood and hooked up IVs to each. Like, I was on 2 bags of fluid at one time. That's how dehydrated I was. I was back in my room for 30 minutes or more before my husband and my mom even knew that I was in a room. And the ultrasound came down to get me. And I'm like, my mom doesn't even know I'm here. My husband doesn't even know I'm here. Can they come in here so they know where I'm at first? So he waited. Thank you. Till my mom and my husband came back. And OU was phenomenal. I felt like immediately they were more thorough than St. Anthony's was, and I recommend OU. I don't care if it's a 20-minute drive to the emergency room. I'd rather go there. So I sent out an ultrasound, and they took about 100 pictures of the baby in my uterus and about 50 of my liver and gallbladder. They had sent that down to have checked out. I guess my blood work came back something with my liver. An hour or 2 later, I was told I had miscarried at 15 weeks, 4 days. A week before this. 2 days after I had left St. Anthony's, when I was told the baby was okay. And I was almost septic because I had no signs of a miscarriage. So I was just having a dead tissue in my body. The next day, Thursday, felt like it lasted a week. I went immediately when I got to my room at the labor and delivery, because they're going to induce me. I got Pitocin, I think, or whatever, the thing that goes up, the pill that goes in you to dilate you. Got that at like midnight. Like every 3 or 4 hours, I was supposed to get it. They came and checked it, and nothing had changed. No thinning, no nothing. So they put another one in me. About 9 o'clock in the morning, they stopped because they wanted to talk to me about another option. About 10 o'clock, talked about surgery. We decided to do surgery because we did not know how long it was going to take for the induction for me to be induced. I could be there for days. And it's already December 29th, you know. So I'm like, I'll just do the surgery. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. Could not have water anymore. So I had to wait at least 8 hours for that because I guess the anesthesia people, they won't give you anesthesia if you've had stuff within the 8 hours. So I stopped drinking. And I was parched, like super bad. They wouldn't do anything. Well, by the time the corks, the seaweed, whatever you want to call it, came in that was going to dilate me to do the surgery, by the time they got there, it got to upstairs so they could do it. It was going to be so late, and by the time they would get it in me and get me dilated, it was going to be too late in the night for them to do the surgery, because if I had needed a transfusion, the team wouldn't have been there. So I had to wait. I was going to have to wait. And I'm like, no, let's just go back to being induced because I'm already thirsty. I'm not waiting, 12 more hours. So we went ahead back to do that. And then I actually needed 2 bags of plasma. I got the epidural. And it wasn't working. The automatic, drip wasn't working. They had to come in and put another dose in me. And after they had done that, they decided we were going to go back to surgery. That's what we decided on. So I had to stop eating again, which I was fine by then. I wasn't parched anymore. And so I'm like, okay. My coagulation was really high. It was fine enough to put my epidural in, but once it got in, it went up. So they had to wait for my plasma transfusions and my coagulation to go down, because I wasn't clotting, because they didn't want me to bleed out, before I could remove my epidural. Thankfully, I just had a dose of the epidural, so when they actually, put the corks in me, it felt like they were poking me. Nothing hurt. And so, about 4 o'clock, finally got the epidural out in the morning. Friday at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, I had my surgery. I had my D&C to remove the baby. Like I said, this time when I found out about the miscarriage, yeah, my husband had cried, my mom had cried, when she told my dad, he had cried, when he told his family, they cried, everyone was sad. My friends were texting my phone, my mom was keeping them up to date, because I still didn't want to look at my phone, I was still sick. It hadn't really hit me at the time. I just knew, okay, I don't have to get an abortion, and I'll probably, once the baby's gone, I'll probably start feeling better. So, which just had, but it did hit me later on. We had the D&C immediately after surgery. I felt so much better. I had gotten sick a couple times once I got home, but right after surgery, because they were like, okay, you can have water, and I downed half of this in a second. And I immediately threw it up because I drank too fast. And then that night when I got home, I tried some food. I hadn't eaten in so long. I had some crackers, I had some bologna and cheese roll-ups, and then my husband made spaghetti. So my mom got me this much spaghetti, cut it up, and I ate it, and my body didn't want it. A couple hours later, I threw it up undigested. Sorry for the TMI. But, so yeah, and then, I got sick the next day because I drank too much water trying to take a stool softener, because it had been probably 3 or 4 weeks since I had pooped, and it took another week before I actually got to poop. I got a little bit out a few days after surgery, but then it took an actual week before I actually got to poop. I had the surgery on a Friday, the 29th, or the 30th. Friday the 30th. Tuesday the 3rd is when it hit me. I finally was upset, and I cry every once in a while still about it. It was very sad. On Mother's Day, my friends and family were saying they're thinking of me or wishing me happy Mother's Day. My husband doesn't think we're parents, and I told him, we are. We just don't get to do the parent thing. We made a baby. We just don't have it. I wanted to make a video about it because so many people go through this, but a lot of people think that they're alone in it because no one talks about it. And I think that, to me, I feel better when I talk about it. I'm okay now. Like I said, I cry every once in a while. It's sad when I think about it. Yes, I never got to meet it, but I miss it. We were supposed to find out the sex on January 3rd. So it was sad. We didn't want to find out sex. We could have. They could have told us when we did the surgery, but we didn't want to because we didn't have a girl's name picked out, but we had a boy's name picked out. And if it would have been boy, that would have been his name, and we couldn't use that name later on, and we didn't, it would have been too real if we would have known the sex. We didn't do a burial. We just, if I was going to induce it, I didn't want to see it. So the surgery was a lot better for me anyway, because I didn't want to see the baby, and he didn't want to. It was going to be too real. Which everyone's different. I applaud you if you want to see your baby, or I applaud the women who stillborn their babies. our babies are stillborn. And then they, you know, take pictures with them. Like, that's so sad. Like, my baby was only like this big, you know, it was still very small. But to actually give birth to it, but it's dead, I could not even imagine. And I have some friends who have done that. But I just wanted to make a video because I have a lot of friends who went through this. And we, I just want you guys to know you're not alone. I know this video is getting kind of long, and I gotta get ready to go to the gym. But I wanted to include, we found out I had contracted hepatitis E. It's very uncommon. It comes from Mexico. It comes from, like, food if it was washed in contaminated water or grown in contaminated soil. Most likely got it from a Mexican restaurant here. It doesn't really, if you're not pregnant, it doesn't really affect you. You might throw up once, think you have food poisoning, you're done with it. It's very severe in pregnancy. In the second, third trimester, almost every single pregnancy ends in miscarriage. And in third trimester, 1 in 4 women die from it. It becomes cirrhosis or psoriasis of the liver, or whatever you pronounce it. So we're very thankful. We're kind of looking at the miscarriage as a blessing. I almost died. And, you know, a normal person's liver enzyme count is supposed to be really low. Like 30s, 40s, something like that. In the hospital, mine was 235. I had my blood work done in February just to check it. It was 72 still. Today, it was 16. We officially got cleared to start trying again. My liver enzyme counts are back to normal. I'm healthy, besides my white blood cell counts are a little elevated, but they've been elevated for years. And no doctors have figured out. I have nothing wrong. No blood tests show anything. I'm healthy. I feel fine. I've just been told that I'm probably going to be a person that has an elevation of white blood cell counts. Whatever. Maybe it's because I'm fat. Who knows? I'm working on that. I've lost more weight. I lost over 40 pounds with the during pregnancy. I gained a little bit back once I was able to eat again, because for the first month I didn't care. I just ate whatever I wanted. But since then I've been doing a lot better. I've been eating better, portioning. I'm not like, you know, being super strict to myself. I still indulge. I still eat red meat. I still eat, you know, unhealthy things. But I moderate things, and I portion control, and I go to the gym like 4 to 6 times a week. Started out 5 to 6, and my schedule kind of got crazy, and so now it's like 3 to 4 sometimes. Try at least 4. But I pay my friend. She's my trainer. I pay her, so she helps me. We finally got cleared to try. I'm not to a weight that I'm still not to the weight that I would want to be when I wanted to try, like, you know, before, when I mentioned in the beginning of the video. But I'm okay to try. I'm out this month. My TMI again, my period started early this month, of course. As at the time, like as of last month, my fertile window was still going through for the next couple days. Today's May 23rd. My appointment was today. May 23rd, 2017. And so my appointment was today, and both my fertility apps said that my fertile window was going until the 29th or the 27th or something like that. I was super excited. I started early. I usually start around the 8th. I started on the 5th. Not too bad, not just 3 days early, but that pushed my fertile window more further into the month. So then it was ending today. I'm like, well, we could still try, like, bam, have sex today, and, you know, just keep doing it. There's a chance, but it's probably still not going to happen. And then I ovulated early. Both my apps said my fertile window was starting on the 18th. So I started taking my ovulation tests on the 18th. And on the 18th, I was peak. I had ovulated. Not saying that we can't try. Meaning, just now, whenever we have sex, we don't have to use condoms again. But I'm pretty much out this month, and I'm probably going to have to wait till next month. I'm hoping to be pregnant by August, because one of my friends is leaving. Her husband's getting out, and they're leaving next year in June. So I would need to have the baby by May, so she can at least see the baby. I was the first one of our friends to hold, besides her and her husband, I was the first ones to hold her son. So I would really like for her to be the first one of my friends, not the family, to hold my baby. She's due in September again, so I'm hoping to be the first one to hold her new son. But yeah, so that's what I want to make my first video about. And I wanted to get it posted. I know I haven't done anything, and this is just like a straight out, hey, I had a miscarriage. But we're getting ready to try again, so I want to record that journey. I just want to be upfront about everything. We record that journey, like I said. And I want to start vlogging, just period. Like, we're going home on the 27th this month, so I want to record that, vlog that whole trip. We're going to be gone 11 days. One day we're doing a balloon release for our baby, because we were due June 10th of this year, next month. We were due. And so we're doing a balloon release for the baby with our family on June 4th or 3rd, depending on the weather. So, I want to vlog that. Plus, I just wanted to make this video, period, because, like I said, if you are watching this because you've been through a miscarriage and you just want to know how it is, you're not alone. It's very sad and hard, but you will get through it. It's not going to get easy, or it's not going to get better, it's just going to get easier to deal with it and cope with it. But yeah, you're not alone. 1 in 4 women have a miscarriage. It's a lot, but that's not, 1 in like 1,000 talk about it. I don't know if that's the real number, but so yeah, you are not alone. And if you have any questions, you can leave comments. But when you're not alone, I wanted to let you guys know also about like what happened to me. It was the hepatitis E. The fetal tissue was tested, and there was no abnormalities. Can't talk. And so they didn't test for the hepatitis E, but with the fact that there was no abnormalities and nothing else was wrong with me or anything, nothing showed, there was no other causes. We're pretty sure it was the hepatitis E that caused the miscarriage, and almost killed me. Very rare case. Like, I seem to be, if it can happen, even if it's like a slim chance, it's probably going to happen to me. I have been told that now that I've got the antibodies for it, should have got those in March or April, it won't affect me anymore. I will always have it, but it won't affect me anymore. It will not affect my baby. So I should have a good pregnancy next time, unless, something that's actually a miscarriage thing that's typical happens. Let's hope not. Knock on wood. So, there's that. And I just want to let you know, because we're getting ready to try again. So I wanted to get this posted. Alright, I'm going to sign off. But yeah, leave comments down below. Like my video if, I know it, like, you probably didn't, love it. Just an informational sit-down video. Probably very boring. Sorry for talking so long. But that's my miscarriage story. And I hope you like the rest of my videos when I get them posted, since this is my first one. See ya!